For reasons that I'm still having trouble grasping, the hero in the siege of Minneapolis, Will Stancil, Commissar Stancil, it do be like that Stancil, has been kicked out of the ICE rapid response signal groups that he was using to coordinate and get around. And the reason why is because he had journalists riding along with him. Apparently, there were people in these group chats who were concerned about OPSEC, which is fake, and they didn't want journalists following them around. Which, I guess, my question is, wasn't the point to go around following ICE and taking videos of them anyway? What's the point of taking videos of them if you don't want the videos put out there? Like, what are you worried that a journalist could bring eyes to if the whole point was to bring eyes to? You're not doing like deep cover sabotage operations. You're not bringing press along to like secretly raid the ICE facility and like cut the power lines or whatever. You're bringing them along like in a process of shining sunlight on them. There's no OPSEC here. It doesn't apply. Yeah. I've seen people arguing over this. It's actually pretty disheartening. Will Stancil has been incredibly brave in his opposition to ICE terror. He got ousted from them apparently just by anonymous messages. Like somebody was just like, yeah, you're out. It makes me wonder if like lefty Discord mods have taken over the signal chats. You know what I mean? They've just ousted him because he's a known liberal. The amount of dipshit lefties, especially those using idpol willy-nilly, is staggering. You mean like in this specific context? The hell is this?
Call 911. I'm right at the corner of Jefferson. Attacking me.
We'll call 911 right now.
Yep.
What's your location?
Call 911. I'm right at the corner of Jefferson. No, no, I will not. I will not get out of the car. No, no, I will not get out of the car. You guys, I need CEOs here now.
Get out of the car.
No, I will not get out of the car. You can't do this. Get your hands off.
Like, wouldn't we want journalists here? Wouldn't having a journalist in this car be a good thing? What OPSEC are we worried about protecting?
Of me. Get your hands off.
So much courage. Oh yeah, this woman is like a divine being. Insane. Absolutely insane how brave she is. The reason she's saying she won't get out, by the way, is because ICE does not have the legal authority to remove you from your car without problem. It's the Fourth Amendment. Again, it's the Fourth Amendment. Unless they have a reason, they cannot just order you to leave your car. And they're just demanding it of her for no reason. So she doesn't have to obey.
Hands off me. I am not doing shit. I am observing. I am not done anything. This is my constitutional right.
We're calling 911 right now.
I am not. You cannot arrest me. I'm observing. You can't arrest me. I'm observing. You cannot. I am not.
We're taking a video too.
Multiple huge mainstream media articles were made documenting ICE brutality thanks to press ride-alongs. Also, unless you are doing actual crimes, OPSEC LARP is kind of pointless. Yeah, 100%. I have a feeling the people talking about OPSEC are the ones not actually doing these rides. If anyone actually riding around in Minneapolis facing ICE would desperately want press with them. Why the f wouldn't you? They're literally the greatest protection that you have. Like an actual press, like badged journalist sitting next to you in the car. That's the thing you want more than anything else in the world. I guarantee you the people who are LARPing about OPSEC, who ousted Will Stancil, are not actually doing these ride-alongs. They're just like lefty LARPing from the safety of the signal group.
Get off of me. Get off of me.
Under arrest.
Someone call the MP, or someone call the police.
Somebody help them.
Call the police. Call the police.
What is happening?
Call them now.
They're trying to avoid their biometrics getting put on lists. Having a journalist ride along with you isn't going to change that. Also, the whole point here in observing ICE is you're already, how would having press with you change that? Like you're already seeing the ICE agent, like the ICE can film you, and also the cameras. Like everywhere, you know, if the government wants your data, they can get it. You're literally bringing your phone along with you while you drive, you know?
Call them now. Call them now.
We're calling 911. We're calling 911. They're calling 911.
Attacking me.
We'll call 911.
The government currently has a camera on your balls. The government currently maintains a surveillance camera inside your toilet bowl that looks at your butthole while you poop. Every house has one. It has been legally mandated since 2002 for every toilet sold in the United States to have a surveillance cam looking at your butthole while you poop. I feel really bad for Will Stancil. I hope he gets let back in, considering all the work that he's done. He did really cool stuff, and then after he endangered the lives of activists by trying to bring press to secretive in-person meetings. What? And attempting to publicly expose private chats to the media. What? These signal groups are public. Like, the links that they share are public. What do you mean? To satisfy his ego, he got booted by organizers to protect other people, and he started raging over it. What organizers? He got sent anonymous messages saying that he was out of the group. Who's the organizer of these big signal chats? What does that mean? The whole point is you're shining a light onto ice. Don't you want everyone looking in? The fursona confirms your theory. Oh, you mean of, like, the type of person saying this shit? Yeah, I mean, obvious. It's also Blue Sky. The most useless people in the world. Why do people keep allowing themselves to get bullied by the worst lefties? I mean, he got removed from the group, man. It's not really like allowing yourself to get bullied. Got removed from the damn group. Also, I think he has bigger stuff to worry about. This is from Will Stancil.
I will continue to follow. You have a constitutional right to do so. You're impeding traffic. You're going real slow.
If you keep following us, you're going to be arrested.
You should arrest me now because I will continue to follow you onto the highway to the 42nd Street. I will continue to follow you. You can arrest me now. Street exit, which is what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to turn off.
Did that ICE agent have a Latin accent? They all do. God bless him, man. Do you know, is there a place where he streams his ride-alongs? Oh man, there's a lot of discourse here. Oh shit. Hold on. Inexperienced neighbors in these networks. So many nested quote tweets. If you're worried about a reporter, just Google them. If they're a normal reporter at a normal outlet you've heard of, not editorial, not Murdoch-owned, just a nationally known newspaper, even a foreign, they're probably safe to talk to. Unless you know them, don't trust independent journalists. They're often parasites. I know people distrust mainstream press, but established journalists at established outfits using their real names are 100 times more reliable and honest than the endless parade of YouTubers and bloggers. That's completely true. Here's my advice. If you're not comfortable or sure, just say no. That's fine. Are you aware that a majority of working journalists in the US are freelancers? Even if they're on assignment for a legit incredible news organization, they probably won't have a company business card. What? They'll say they're with the org. There are a few things that mark a real journalist. They're affiliated with a specific outlet. They will tell you who it is. They have a press card with the outlet's name. Not always. They do not try to hide their identity or use pseudonyms. The last thing is a huge red flag. Bounce anyone who does. Anyone who is cagey about who they are or what they're doing, do not trust. Real journalists exist in a kind of social compact where they tell us their role and get their rules. They respect our rules, and in exchange for that, they get access. Almost all of them are extremely scrupulous about this. An entire generation of people raised on social media simply do not have an understanding of how the media, protests, and surveillance work. My hottest take is that masks at protests are cowardly and have done absolutely nothing but make all protests themselves look unserious to neutral parties. For the most part, that's true. Yeah. There's not really much of a point in wearing masks to protests. For one, if the government wants to know who you are, they can find out. And for two, it does just make you look guilty. Like, the thing that makes ICE look really bad in all these videos from Minneapolis is that they're the ones wearing the masks, and you guys are the ones showing up without a mask, like normal people yelling at them. That's the thing, right? Like the internet centric obsession with OPSEC doesn't really do anything. It doesn't protect you if they want to go after you, for one. And for two, it delegitimizes you in the eyes of a lot of people. What if it's cold? Well, if it's super, super cold, then whatever. But you know what we're talking about here. It just makes you look bad to be masked. It's one of the reasons why, like, I've always said, like, American Antifa sucks ass, because they never accomplish anything. All they do is make themselves look scary and then do nothing. They're like the biggest fake aura farmers in the world. They lore walk at you and then they get one-tapped. Wrong. The real reason to wear a mask is to keep your face from being known by millions of randoms on the internet. But the problem there is that the point of a protest is to express public dissatisfaction with something that's happening. So if enough people show up, even if they're not masked, like, you are, like, they can't make fun of all of us, basically. Like, sometimes you will be selected and they will make fun of you, or they will harass you or whatever. But that's just the cost of being in a protest. And the more people are at the protest, the less likely it happens to you, you know? If you want, you don't have to be in the front. You can let the most zealous people stay in the front. You can be in the middle or back or whatever, but that is the cost of protesting. I know it sucks, but like that literally, that is the game. Like, how many people in Minneapolis? There are tens of thousands of people who are showing up constantly to follow ICE, to track them. How many of them are getting a bunch of online harassment? You know, I know ICE killed 2 of them. Well, I mean, Renee Good wasn't even protesting, but whatever. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about like whether or not a mask would have helped in any way. And obviously, Renee Good or Alex Preddy wearing a mask would not have saved either of them, right? If anything, it might have like hastened their death because, you know, masks make you look more scary or whatever. But yeah, no, it's you can't let anxiety drive your behavior. We're not you're not engaging in illegal behavior. If you show up and you protest, that is your First Amendment right, you know? Wearing a mask, like that, I get it. I get the wearing a mask thing if you're trying to hide something or you're engaging in like undercover shit or whatever, but you're not. You're a citizen and you're allowed to be there. And that's the whole point. I love Blue Sky. Fellas, is it cowardly to not want to die of COVID? Yes. Pretending this is about wearing masks for COVID related reasons. Yeah, sure. Yes, it is. Sure. Whatever. Off. Blue Sky, man. I don't think this is a particularly hot take. As we keep telling a particular federal agency, wearing a mask generally indicates cognizance of guilt and intent to do something illegal. Protest works best when done confidently and unashamedly. Online security theater posting made me really afraid about having my phone or showing my face before going to a No Kings protest. And then when I got there, it was a great time that my mom was taking pictures of everything. Lol. Yeah! So many people get discouraged from protesting because they think that like they're engaging in some like super illegal deep op, there's a 50% chance they're going to shoot into the crowd. But like they're not. You can bring your phone, dog. Has anyone ever heard of a single time that a legal protester in the United States has been tracked by the federal government after a protest by their phone signal? Like, are there any convictions on this? If you plan on doing crimes, Luigi, I don't think that's what happened, Luigi. Jan 6, they were committing crimes. I said legal protest. A guy at agents show up at his door and interrogate him for attending a protest? Sure, that happens sometimes. But when they're doing that, they're usually going after low-hanging fruit. Like, they don't really have a criminal case there. They literally just got systems to track protesters via their phone. What are you talking about? You're not understanding. You're allowed to be there. If you're a protester, you're allowed to be there. You're legally allowed to be there. If they want to intimidate you, they can. They could have intimidated you at the protest. But no one is out there getting, like, thrown in jail because they brought their phone to a legal protest. Like, I understand they're capable of tracking phones, but what I mean to say is that the paranoia around, like, so when we talk about protests, so often it sounds like the language being used implies that you're doing something wrong by attending it, or like you are, you're like accepting some degree of liability, which is not true. Now, there are some things that are true. If you bring your phone, you should turn off the biometric mode, so on, have it locked so that if you are arrested for any reason, the police can't use your thumbprint, whatever, you know. But that's not really, like, you don't need to mask before going to a protest. If you get arrested at a protest, you're not going to be actually convicted of things, right? If you are at a legal protest and you aren't doing anything criminal, and you get arrested, like in a police roundup, it is basically guaranteed you're gonna be out like in an hour, you're gonna be fine. There are very few cases of people who have been convicted of crimes because they attended a protest and they didn't actually do anything, they were just there. It has happened, but you know, there are people who have been convicted of murder and it was completely fake, you know? Like, I mean, that does happen, but I think that you're conceding a lot to the state when you presume the aesthetics of criminality, or you like preemptively assume them when you're engaging in your legal First Amendment protected right to protest. Not true. DHS is keeping people without charges for multiple days, pressuring them to rat out to their friends. Sure, but those aren't going to be charges brought. And also, wearing a mask or not having your phone on you isn't going to save you from that. They're rounding those people up on site. The DHS is constantly breaking the law in how they, in their arrests of people. Yeah. Should you wear diapers though? Always. The more you promote the idea that you should be afraid before attending a protest, the fewer people will attend a protest, and the fewer people attend a protest, the more afraid the people at that protest actually ought to be. A protest of thousands is invulnerable, basically, like, or at least relatively speaking. The more people who go, the more freely they go, the more confident they are in their rights to be there. I think you're very secure. The protests get more dangerous the smaller the people, the number of people attending are, which is why I agree with Will Stancil, bringing press ride-alongs, because the whole point here is to show, shine light on the evil deeds of the ICE agents, Dude, I don't think you understand how many people can't protest, because even when I worked at a grocery store as a bad boy, I was still, by my employment agreement, not allowed to be political. Legally, no business can keep you from attending a protest. That is a violation of your First Amendment rights. There are some concerns with, like, if you have if there is a standard or expectation of public professionalism, like, there are some things that can come back around you. But the idea that if you attend, like, the No Kings protest, you're going to lose your grocery job, that is probably not true. I'm not going to pretend that there are no potential consequences for attending a protest. What I resent is when people overstate the potential threat to attending a protest because they want to make it sound like a cool tactical operation, when in reality, it should be your civic right that you can engage in freely. Bosch said y'all bag groceries. No, I was responding to someone in chat. I'm just saying I don't think that we should overstate this case, because if we do, people get paranoid. And then more people are unwilling to go out and protest. Someone called my boss because I attended a Palestinian protest, almost got fired in Germany. Yes, Israel controls your country. I'm sorry about that. Also, you don't have a First Amendment. It's a different country. I am sorry, though. You think people can just fight a lawsuit like that? Dog, you don't need to sue. You don't need to sue your grocery chain because you lost your bag boy job because they saw a photo of you as one of 10,000 people at your local 5051 protest or whatever. I just don't want you to overstate. See, you jump at the presumption. You're like excited at the opportunity. Look at this barrier that obstructs me. Look at that which impedes me. Like you're proud of it, Very little impedes you, by and large. Maybe sometimes a little bit impedes you, and that sucks, and I'm sorry. We should all have the right to do what we want with regard to protesting the government. But I just don't want people, when you say stuff like, wear a mask before going to the protest, the language there is, if anyone sees you, you are at risk. And overwhelmingly, that is not true. Overwhelmingly, at a protest, you can just show up and be a guy and then go home, I'm not saying there's no risk associated with a protest. When you engage in that language, it is a chilling effect that deters people from participation. Overwhelmingly, we want transparency and openness, and masks do convey a sense of criminality, which is why ICE is wearing them. Can I also be a girl? Fine, you can also be a girl. Because you are at risk, so many people never get to go home. Listen, I'm sorry, but that's just not true. If you are attending a protest, by and large, as long as you are engaging in legal behavior, you will be fine going back home. I promise you that is true, okay? Like, do you mean you'll be killed? Very unlikely. Do you mean you might be arrested, then turned out the next day? Sometimes, if the police do like kettling, if they crack down on a protest and they scoop up some people in the front, but usually those people just get let go anyway, There aren't really any charges to bring against them. But most protests don't get kettled. If we're talking about, like, following ICE agents around Minneapolis, yeah, there's a real threat. Those motherfuckers could kill you. But I still don't think you should show up wearing a mask, because the whole point is that, you guys are regular citizens, and the ICE agents are the degenerate militant freaks running around threatening people, Like, like, a degree of bravery is required. But I just don't think we should overstate the potential harm, I'm not attacking you guys. I'm not saying there's no risk. I'm just saying we need to be considerate. That's all. A Minnesota woman observing ICE agents in her car was cornered on one-way streets. An agent approached, calling her by name, citing facial recognition. Days later, her global entry and TSA privileges were revoked with no explanation. Whew. Yeah, the insane. Yeah, but the mask won't save you. Just put up a picture of the last big protest. How many of those peeps are in jail/abused? Last big protest? Do you mean the No Kings rallies? Those were, I think basically nobody got arrested from those. Do you mean from, like, the ICE follow-alongs? For the most part, if you're following ICE along, you're much less at risk than the people they're targeting. But also, there will be risk in following ICE along just because they're, lawless neo-Nazi gangs. So, any point addressing the protests are pointless gif? Okay, well, It's a very funny gif. Look, big liberal protests where you can bring your stupid gay sign and your kids or whatever are a part of the big equation, and so is making fun of them a little bit. Just don't take yourself too seriously when you make fun of them. All right? Like, is it a bit cringe? Sure. But is it good that there's a big protest of like, I don't know, 100,000 people in New York living out about how they'd rather be at brunch and they would be at brunch if Kamala was elected? In the context of this administration, yeah, just don't take it too seriously. I wanted to go to No Kings in Miami, but when I told people, they said I could die, so I ended up not going. What the die going to No Kings in Miami? Jesus Christ. Where are they getting this from? ICE reportedly has a tool where they circle a geography and get the names of all the cell phone users within it. The key to defeating this technology is not smashing your cell phone with a hammer, but recognizing that having a list of 30 people who are recording you in public is not very useful. Yep. If one person is recording you, it's very easy to target them and deal with them. If like 100 or 200 or 500 people are following you, it's like, well, what the okay, well, what are you gonna do? I'll stop bemoaning the point, but I am rooting for Will over there.